Hello everyone and welcome back to some more Moonduck coverage of the Zotac Cup Masters. We have got game number 1 of the NA Open Qualifier bracket here. The finals between, is it Fire and Freedom? They are tagged up kind of weird. But
yes, it is Team Fire and Team Freedom. Of course, yeah, like you said, we're not ticketed here, so it's a little bit all over the place. Unfortunate, but we recognize a few names at least on Mona and Friends. You see IX Mike up there on the Dire.
Yeah, so we'll be able to figure it out here. Treant Protector, obviously one of the big changes in patch 7.05 that dropped about 40 minutes ago, so gonna be seeing a lot of him as teams are very eager to see what he does.
Yeah, or we'll see him banned out. Time will tell. He was not particularly impactful in the early game of the last match we just saw. However, he did come back in the end, and it seemed like the Treant really was playing kind of a driving role. A lot of good counter initiations with the ultimate, and just all the normal stuff you'd expect with living armor and whatnot, keeping people alive from around the map.
Yeah, now Lena picked up here. One important change for her is instead of that level 10 talent being the -35 respawn time, it is the level 15. So you're forced to choose between that and the damage, which is, you know, pretty divisive. You're going to see people really torn up over that one. So we'll see if she's still going to be that viable, really powerful mid-caster that we see.
Yeah, it's always interesting, right, when a patch hits and you see these heroes that were really popular and they get these either tweaks or changes, and it's hard to tell how much it's really going to impact them, right? And I think with Lena, this is one where we might see her fall out of vogue as a really prominent pick. It'll be telling of how much people are picking her because of that respawn time talent, and how much of just because of what else Lena brings to the table in terms of being, you know, a crazy right clicker and having a lot of range and being a lane dominator and all this kind of stuff. So very curious, but a lot of fire here for the Radiant. That is Team Fire, I do believe, Bat Rider and Lena.
Yeah, Crippling Depression is Brax, one of the new members of Moonduck Studios. So I think we might be potentially some bias casters.
I'm glad he's depressed already.
His name has been Crippling Depression for a couple of weeks now, so we wish him all the best.
Even better.
So yeah, again, non-ticketed tournaments, you end up with some goofy names like this. But either way, moving on to our third pick here, we'll see if they continue that fire strat. Would be pretty interesting. They could go for like an Ember Spirit here if they wanted to keep things burning.
So Ogre and Jug banned out, and Alchemist Weaver taken out by Team Fire. All right, a couple of big cores. I think likely that offlane Sand King. Very open-ended drafts still.
I'm going to go in for the Witch Doctor. I like this choice. Just really high damage lane support. He can rotate early if he needs to. He is pretty level dependent, though, so they got to make sure he's at least soaking well.
Yeah, it's nice, though. Pairs well with Lena. Like, if he sets up with a Coconut, she has a follow-up Light Strike Array, and then you hit him with a Cursed Ground or the Maledict or whatever it's called. Easy kills. You know, it's same with Bat Rider. Hits him with a lasso. You hit him with an easy curse, and then it's a lot of good follow-up damage for the Bat Rider. So I like it. Good setup and good stuns, and you know, having heals for heroes like Bat Rider, quite nice.
Yeah. The downside is both Lena and Witch Doctor are incredibly squishy. So if somehow Dire can get the jump, easy pickings for them.
It's true. It's very true, actually. Very squishy lineup.
Yeah, we'll see if they're just going to like finish it out with like the tankiest heroes I've ever seen. Let's get a Bristleback in there. Let's get some DKs going. But no, it's all right draft so far. Pick number 3 coming out from our Dire squad. Sand King. I mean, is he for sure the offlaner, or do they run in position 4?
We'll find out. I think very likely to be the offlaner. He still really thrives in that lane dominator role.
Is that a Mike pick? Really, though? I mean, I would have thought he wanted, like, the Abaddon for himself, I guess. Fire. They counter it well. These teams very familiar with each other.
I mean, yeah, you can always... It's open-ended, right? That's part of the value of picking up Sand King so early. You kind of assume he's an off-laner, but you never know. He could just move into the jungle and play that more classic style. Silencer, very good against Witch Doctor. Actually makes against all these heroes. You can kind of, sometimes at least, you can see those Lagunas coming and drop a Silence before Lena can get the full rotation off. And a similar deal with Bat Rider. You know, you see him blink in. If you have fast reactions, you can stop the lasso before it even happens. So, good pick. I like the silencer choice. Also, very open-ended. Could be a support. Could be their safe lane farmer. Hard to say. Really hard to say. A difficult draft to read if you're on this Radiant side.
Yeah, really variable here. The Slark going to be, you know, his position's hammered out for him. He's just gank lord followed around. And with the Treant Protector now, this is going to be fun. Treant going to be invis in the trees, given vision of who's out alone, who's farming up the jungle. Really easy to punish.
Mm-hmm. Slardar Slar. Yeah, gotta love the Corrosive Haze with the Death Ward. A lot of synergy there.
5 seconds remaining.
Makes the Witch Doctor's ult do a lot of damage.
Reserve time.
Yeah, the point is they have to sit back and actually get that off, though. Witch Doctor has to be in a really good position, or Slark just pounces him, and he's dead in like a hit. So, feisty draft going both ways.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't change the synergy, though. It does a retarded amount of damage. Yeah, Witch Doctor already does a lot of damage on his own. Like, against Silencer, if he's Corrosive Hazed, I mean, Witch Doctor just solos him.
Yeah.
It can also be kind of a Jebaited type deal. If you're the Witch Doctor, to use your ult in the hopes that Silencer will interrupt you. You know, because compared to counter-initiating a Bat Rider lasso, Witch Doctor's ultimate can kind of pale in comparison. And again, as we talked about in the series prior, the heroes that have these really long cooldown ultimates have definitely fallen out of popularity. You know, your Tide Hunters, your Enigmas, your Warlocks, where it just becomes very obvious the timing in which it's down when you have a big advantage. Silencer can fit that archetype, but he's just a little bit too annoying compared to like a Tide Hunter. He still does a lot even when he doesn't have his ultimate, right? He's still soaking up int, still dropping silences with last word. Still a very obnoxious hero. Right, he has that middle ground. He has very spammable spells and nasty right clicks, as well as that big ultimate.
Yep, so we will see moving into last bans here. Let's see what Freedom wants to take out last. Our Fire Boys still waiting on their position 1, most likely, unless they're doing something weird with this Lena.
Yeah, probably Lena mid, offlane Bat Rider with just a safe lane farming core, Witch Doctor Slardar as your 2 supports. I think their draft definitely a bit more standard. Dire-wise, it's safe lane Slark, okay, mid lane Storm, and I think at this point it has to be off lane Sand King. Ooh, excuse me.
How do you feel about this Storm pick? I mean, it's pretty high risk, high reward.
What makes you say that?
I mean, Lena can just lock him down and kill him off pretty quickly. Oh man, this is my favorite.
Terrorblade.
Brax knows how much I love Terrorblade. I was talking to him about it halfway through the hub.
I like this last pick.
Oh, I love it.
This is a really good lineup with the Terrorblade. You've got a lot of good surrounding cast. Every single one of his teammates here has some kind of a stun, so a lot of ways to peel in case the Terrorblade gets put in a sticky situation. You've got the Corrosive Haze, so his Metamorphosis is going to be disgusting in terms of right clicks. And a lot of good burst damage, you know, like those Sunder into Laguna type options, just lasso where he's laying into him. I like this Radiant draft. I think it has a little bit more. They have the ease of execution advantage, I would say.
Yep. I mean, the bad part is Silencer can really be a nasty thorn in your side if you're trying to get off your combos there. You're trying to go for that clutch life-saving Sunder. You're trying to get off the full Lena combo. Going to be pretty easy to stop that in its tracks. So we will see. Again, game number 1 of a best of 3 between Fire and Freedom.
I do wonder why they picked the Storm here. Of all the heroes they could have chosen, there isn't really much silence on the Radiant squad, but they do have a fair bit of lockdown. But with Storm, it's often about that first catch, right? It doesn't really matter if you have all these follow-up stuns if you can't catch him in the first place. And that's often the hardest part because he's just, you know, zip-zapping all over the place.
Oh, that's why it's being so weird. It's directed camera.
Yeah, because we're not in the actual, we're on Dota TV or whatever.
Yeah, there we go. That's so much better to handle. I was so confused. Yeah, again, game number 1 started while the EU game was still going on, so we are just spectating this up.
Yeah, we will be in the lobby for the follow-up game and or games, but first one we're going to have to cast off the, well, quote-unquote ticket, or lack thereof.
We're spectating off of our friend Brax. Lovely
Thanks, Brax.
moonducker. Speaking of Brax, where's our crippling depression boy? He's making his way downtown.
Okay, so looks like fairly straightforward lanes. Batrider will take the off lane. Lina will take the mid for the Radiant. And for Dire, seems fairly straightforward as well. So I don't think there will be any crazy surprises.
Yeah, just looks like we're going to get off to a good start. I mean, how was your first impression of Treant? We saw him last game in the EU games. I mean, was he used to his full potential? Was that what you were expecting?
Yeah, he's definitely annoying. I think that we saw some of the effect, at least, of the changes to Leech Seed. And that was definitely one of the problems with the hero. Too much slow in those early levels where he has insane right-click advantage. And when you pair that with an Orb of Venom, it's a bit too much. And last game, he was not able to do as much in the early game as I thought he would. So, yeah, I don't know. The jury's still out. I think it'll be interesting to see how teams utilize him and if we see any changes in the style.
Yeah, he does go for an Orb of Venom, which was tweaked around a little bit. I believe the duration was lowered and the damage per second was increased.
Something like that, yeah.
One of those combination of the
two. It doesn't stay
two.
as long, but it's still equally as potent.
Yeah.
In terms of like overall DPS.
Brax up top gets off the pull here, so full wave going to be... Oh, there he goes. He collects it again, going his way. Nice little play for him. And down bottom, Terrorblade already committing the Metamorphosis. They are all in on IX Mike, and it looks like they're probably going to find the kill. He's TPing out.
So close.
They just lack the tiniest amount of damage.
That was a pretty heads-up play from Mike to try to go for the TP there.
Yeah, I mean, Crush already expended. There really wasn't anything else left in the tank. And
yeah, well, I mean, just against the damage. Like, against the Metamorphosis Terrorblade, I'd be like, yeah, no way I'm going to TP out in time. But he made it. However, his Treant not going to be so lucky. And now this zombie fella, he's going to be left behind. The right clicks will be too much. And TC's first Metamorphosis, my word.
That's a double kill, Andrew.
Yeah, that's quite good. That's way more than you hope for. I think with that first meta, you're happy if you could just sit in lane and farm.
Yeah, first meta usually means like you right-click the tower a couple of times.
He gets 2 kills and forces the Sand King to TP home. Like, that is great. It's really a good start for him.
Up in this top lane, our boy Brax laning against KVH pretty well, but our Slark's still farming pretty nicely. And let's talk a bit more about our mid matchup, which we kind of skipped over in favor of the action bottom lane. It's Lina versus Trump. T-Swift, are you going to do it? Well, so far, Lina getting some good farm here. Trump forced to eat the Iron Branch tree, just continue his regen.
Yeah. Okay. So fairly standard laning stuff happening now as IX Mike comes in. I like everything about what the Radiant has going on right now. I like their lanes. I like their options in terms of team fighting. I think this overall early game is just a lot easier for them. They just need to sit in lanes, they focus on farm, and take any opportunities for easy kills that they can get. Outside of that, this is really easy. Dire, it's like you got this Treant. It feels like there is this pressure on Treant to do something in the early game. You know, heroes like Coddle, for example, that play that similar support role. If you have a really quiet early game, Coddle's just going to head to the jungle. That's part of his power, is that he can just start stacking and power farming with Illuminate. Treant doesn't quite have that. So if you're not finding kills, if you're not using that right-click damage to your advantage, it feels like a little bit of a wasted lane pick. And now Mike will survive, but a lot of damage comes his way.
Yeah, one more tick of the Maledict. Not going to be enough to do it. He gets out with 30 HP. And there's still going to be some Treant walking around there. TC, unfortunately, only level 3. Didn't have that 1 point in reflection that would have potentially scored them the kill. Now, Sentry Ward placed here. Who's going to be dewarding what? And it looks like Radiant do make a tree sandwich. Can they keep it going, though, as Mike is able to find the Burrow Strike onto Fluff? Fluff finds a kill for himself. He's going to be juking and jiving this one, and it looks like Mike forced to retreat. Unfortunately, Caustic Finale will get the Witch Doctor, so... Yeah,
they go 1 for 1, so it could be worse for the Dire, but it's still a much better trade for the Radiant. They get the kill first.
Oh, TC's Metamorphosis.
And Mike will survive, knowing his limits.
TC maybe a little bit hasty there, but we'll at least get a chance to push tower off of this Metamorphosis. Meanwhile, Batrider going to be going forward, trying to burn down the Silencer, but Brax having a tough time. Just, Lina gets a solo kill onto the Storm Spirit here. Really nicely done. That's going to be a kill at Storm Spirit level 4, so level 4, 5. Really the crucial time to find a kill on that Storm Spirit right before he gets his ball lightning. Just make it hurt. Brax taunting as he TPs out. Low health, just going to be making his way back to the shrine and filling back up.
Regeneration.
Okay, 4-1. Still a reasonable early game here. How's Trump looking? 21 last hits. He's keeping it steady.
Now he's about to get ganked. Look at that. The coconut bounces back on him. Light strike hits and another level 4 kill onto the Storm.
Yeah, it's big.
That's so brutal.
Big.
Two in a
Just
row.
as I was like, you know what? He's holding steady. He might be able to start to recover now. It's looking rough. And this is some of that high risk, high reward I think you were talking about. Oh, my. How do you recover a Storm Spirit that's fallen this far behind? Can we get a net worth? See where he's sitting right now? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
he's down in the trenches there.
He's completely crippled.
He's matching up with the Treant that's been doing pretty much nothing but soaking. So difficult. May have to make some not easy rotations. And our Lena's off to a great start right now.
Oh, yeah. This is... And I feel like I've overused the terms momentum and snowball heroes, but Alina fits the bill with all of those, and this is a great start. Number 1 on net worth. Fire are just dominating. All 3 of their cores are top of the chart, and yeah, 2K net worth lead at 5 minutes. Dire need to make something happen.
Well,
but I just can't help but feel like this Treant is a fucking paperweight right now.
He's working on it. We saw last game you said the same thing, and then Treant made some clutch plays. He's just got to be in the right place at the right time, and that's really the struggle with him.
Well, that's true for every hero, though. I mean, at this point in the game before, they were not this far behind, and I feel like the spread is a lot different. You got a Terrorblade who's rolling you right now. Terrorblade's almost like 50% up on the Slark.
Oh.
Think about that. Like, that's insane.
It's going to be getting out.
Be all right. That Arcane Curse, not going to be enough. It's only level 1. Okay.
All right, so he will make it out there. Treant Protector going to be healing up the Dire boys.
He's got like, what, 5-minute drums? 6-minute drums?
Yeah, he's doing well.
I mean, this is really good. And we talked about the Tranquil Boots change a little bit. See how that impacts some of the item choices.
Yeah, again, just to recap, Tranquil Boots now made with Windlace instead of Ring of Protection.
So that's it. They didn't change anything else, just swapped out Windlace for Ring of Protection, and then
it does have their respective stats, so no more armor for Tranquil
no
Boots.
changes outside of the item changes.
Not off the top of my head. You glanced at the patch notes as long as I did. I don't know.
Right. I mean, you understand what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah.
When they swap those items out, obviously the armor goes away and it gets more movement speed or whatever, but they didn't tweak it elsewise. So
I don't know.
I don't know if that's really good or bad. I think there are certain heroes where that armor makes a big difference.
Dire, they're making their way back in. Terrorblade, only level 5, doesn't have that level.
Why did Mike jump into that though?
Because his team's right behind him. He thought I could make it just a little bit longer.
They weren't right behind him though. They were like way back behind the tier 1 tower. They weren't even close.
All right, so maybe Mike was a little ambitious. Let's cut him some slack.
Why?
All right. Well, either way,
I mean,
Dire
he just suicided. That was really like.
They did force out the Terrorblade Metamorphosis, so at least their towers are going to be...
I'm sure TC will be crying all the way to the bank, like, oh, you guys made me use meta.
Now Fluff is going to be betrayed here, goes in, puts down a ward, and will be a victim.
They get a counter kill back the other way. Not bad. Not bad, but it is a 3-hero rotation, and all the while mid, I think they're just laying into that tier 1 tower.
Yeah, looks like Lena's just having some fun. T-Swift fan finally just letting loose. Letting that fire out. Back up top, Brax just having some fun. Did commit his lasso. We missed that play, but hey, look, it's bruh. And Brax scores another kill for himself. Down bottom, TC. Gonna get Leech seated up. There's a courier coming in. Maybe a little bit careful about this. Man, that courier is now being microed by like 4 people. You could feel like the jaggedness.
Yeah.
So, either way, Radiant continue a really good streak. This chart just goes up and up and up towards that 3,000 mark. Certainly not a safe game yet for either team, but feeling really confident. Now mid lane, rotation in towards T-Swift fan. She's not going to shake this one off here. She is very dead.
Yeah, these rotations are great.
Oh,
nice.
Triple Light Strike array, though. She goes down, but she's setting up for a really nice counter kill. They go in. They get the tree down as well. Maledict onto a Zillion. Now, Batrider in a little bit of trouble here. Does end up popping, and IX Mike going to have to make his way back through the jungle.
Yeah.
So.
They still go 2 for 2, but they get the kill on Storm, which is really the big one that they want to get the counter kills on there.
Yeah, Storm having a really tough time this
I
game.
think Fire will take it. Obviously not ideal. They don't get the net worth advantage, but...
I mean, if Lena hadn't set up that triple man light striker,
Yeah.
right, it would have been a very different fight.
Could have been a hell of a lot worse. No doubt. No doubt.
Yep, so Tranquil is now up to 90 movement speed and 14 HP. There's no armor to be found. Is that going to be like a big change, or is that just kind of like
I think
eh?
it depends on the hero. I can't think of a great example, but there's got to be a couple of heroes where that armor makes a big difference. Going from 0
Crystal
armor
Maiden?
to just a couple of armor. Yeah, that is one. But I mean, in a lot of cases, I think most people would argue that you're a squishy support anyway. That little bit of armor. I mean, if you're in a situation where you're taking heavy right clicks and you don't have any spells, you're probably dead anyhow, and that armor's not going to matter a whole amount. So, and for some heroes, having that extra movement speed where you wouldn't normally go Windlace, and now you have to buy it as part of your boot upgrade, that's a nice little piece of efficiency for certain heroes. Like I could see Earth Spirit really loving that change, for example. So it kind of goes both ways. For some heroes, it'll probably be a buff, and for others, it'll probably be a nerf. But we'll probably still see Tranquil Boots picked up pretty regularly. I don't think it's a hard nerf on the item overall. It just makes it situationally better.
Yeah, those flimsy supports going to be getting a little bit less out of them, so... Either way, looks like Radiant content to push this tower mid lane while Dire focus bot. Just one more TC illusion going to get snipped up by IX Mike. So, tower for tower. Nothing too feisty there. Trump still playing his cards. He's got a double damage rune. He's flying in some more goodies for himself. Going to be picking up a raindrop. Really nice pick against the Lena, who's made some quick work of him.
Yep. Raindrop can be your make it or break it.
Witch Doctor baits the pounce from Slark, but will be able to TP out safely while Dire still working at this bottom tower. Not exactly the quickest hitters in the world.
Click on Lena real quick.
Sure thing.
And go to the talents.
Sure thing.
So obviously our indicator is not updated for the new patch. So she goes attack range, and then it's 50 damage or 30 respawn time.
Yeah, that's a pretty big nerf, because usually it was just an automatic. You get the 30 respawn, and obviously you get the 50 damage, but now you have to choose.
Yeah. It's a bit of a toss-up. 50 damage is a lot.
I feel like if you're going to go for that core mid Lena, you still need the respawn time, because it just combos so nicely with the Bloodstone. You're just never dead.
Yeah, the thing is that...
Oh, Trump's going in, seeing that Lena has very little mana, but not able to get off the electric vortex now. Trump might get punished for this. He's just going to go TP out. They got the coconut, though, so...
Yeah, he's dead.
He goes in for the Lena. He zips just a little bit further. Yep, and now they got Brax coming in. Brax does not have enough mana for a lasso. Crush off the mark from our Slardar. And now Zombie just going to be TPing out. This time, nothing to stop it. I cast the Corrosive Haze on him before he goes out. And now Mike, low mana here, going to be walking under tower, taking a couple of shots. Let's see if anyone can take him on here. And it looks like he will go down. He's going to get healed up by the tree, just delaying the inevitable. But in the end, still Storm getting a little overzealous. They killed Alina, but it cost them 2.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Dire are still just in such a rocky spot. Storm is not recovering, and if he was sitting in the jungle right now and just farming away, I would start to feel like, okay, he's behind, but he's on his road to recovery. He keeps getting involved in these kills, and the trades have not been going his way. He's 2-4 now.
It's about to get a whole lot uglier if this gank goes successfully. Slardar, he's thinking about his blink, still about 1,000 gold off of that, and they will find a nice kill on the Slark here. No hesitation about dumping out the Death Ward. He is able to get his ult off here, so KVH buying some more time, but now his ult expires. T-Swift fan getting close. They got the Yules on him. Now Global Silence preventing any Laguna. Really nice burrow strike from Mike, and they're going to continue to chase him down. Another crush misses from Bruh. And now Batrider just flying out of there. Radiant going to cut their losses. They won't get the kills they so desperately want, but they won't lose anything. Oh, hold that thought as IX Mike reinitiates, and Trump comes in as well. There is going to be a double man crush, and now Trump going to be lassoed back in here, trying to get as much damage as possible, but Bruh going to be left on his own. So unfortunately, that is 2 kills down as Radiant just got too far in.
Good turnaround. Dire just had the reinforcements there, part of the scary nature of fighting around enemy shrines. Well positioned, and they punish the hyper-aggression of the Radiant. However, Terror Blade's still absolutely massive. and not in a position where they're slowing him down at all. TC just getting free run to the jungle. He's got his Dragon Lance up, and Diffusal on the way next. Okay.
Lina also no slacker herself, just getting pretty big, almost level 12 on her. So that Laguna starting to be a bit of a problem. Now rotation down, Dire making their way in. IX Mike, he's ready to debut that fun little blink, and they'll go in. They find a blink strike, or rather a burrow strike onto Bra, but look at that, Fluff able to channel up his ult. And it's just going straight onto Zombie now. But Mike, he's still got his pincers going, goes back in onto Fluff, but the ult lasts just a little bit too long. Nice light strike array. Will secure the kill onto the silencer. They do have to trade their Slardar for it. And Batrider, meanwhile, dying up top to this Slark gank, rather.
Yeah, it's a good ult from the Treant. Helps make that little, I don't know if a turnaround is the right word, but at least an additional kill. Get the silencer a little bit of extra in. That's nice.
Sure is. So, I mean, kill score starting to even out. We saw a big discrepancy in favor of Fire early on, but I mean, is this enough for our Dire squad to really start getting back in at these nice pickoffs? Slark getting some space for himself
judging
too?
by the overall net worth, I'm kind of inclined to say yes. Storm definitely got a good bit out of that. It's all about the Storm Spirit, I think. I mean, obviously Slark is an important hero to keep in mind. He's got the Midas, so he's going to start scaling towards bigger and badder items, but the Storm is like the lifeblood of their initiation, right? He's the one that needs to be able to either follow up on Treant or Slark's initiation or start the whole thing with a long-range zip. So either way, a lot of pressure on him. He needs that Bloodstone, and it's coming, actually, about 500 gold away. So shaping up to be a decent recovery if he doesn't get picked off again in the interim. I can't believe he's only 300 net worth behind the Lina. Like, finally, these ganks have started to work out.
He recovered so nicely. Now Brax ready to go in with that Blink TV. IX Mike, he's channeling up the ult, will go in and finds a good connect there, and Global Silence coming out, so they can't really follow this up with much, but their right clicks are enough. Lina scores herself another kill, and now Zombie on the run here, and he's just trying to make his way into the pit. Wow, Fluff just lays in, no hesitation.
It's a short cooldown. Make sure he doesn't get denied by neutrals.
Yep.
I mean, with the Corrosive Haze, it does a stupid amount of damage. It ensures that there's almost no way that the neutrals can find that kill. So, right back to the lead we go for the Radiant team. Yep. Team Fire.
Nice little upturn there. Bruh thinking about his Blink Dagger, still a ways off. Slardar's definitely playing the poverty mode, not that position 3 Slardar we saw last game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting close to the blink.
Oh, wow. Trump deep zip there is going to get Yulesed up. Might find the kill onto Brax. He probably is going to pop from all that silencer damage, but still, they get the kill on the Storm. You'll take that any day. Now, Mike reinitiates here. Gets Corrosive Haze. They see him, and Laguna not going to be brought out from the Lina. Still on cooldown from that previous Storm kill, so... All right, they were able to make that risky play, but I think you'll happily trade a Batrider for a Storm Spirit kill.
Yeah. For sure. So, I think Radiant really are just going to wait for the Blink Dagger on Slardar. I know I was just talking about it, but it is really their key item. Batrider, until he has Force Blink, he can't play their, okay, you initiate and then we'll just follow up, buddy, because he needs a way to survive. And I think he's playing that counter-initiation role much more so. And once Slardar picks up the Blink of his own, it'll just open up a lot more possibilities for their team fight and allow them to do that kind of dance where they can initiate, reinitiate, and kind of rinse and repeat that way. They have a lot of spammable stuns, and right now Slardar is just having mobility issues.
Yeah, man, Treant's movement speed got nerfed by 5, I think, but he is still stamping around the forest so quickly. How fast was he before? It was just ridiculous, wasn't it?
I mean, it was just 5 movement speed, so it's...
He's still fast.
He's 5 movement speed slower than he was, a.k.a. not that fast.
Whatever. So, Dire still grouping up. I mean, they're getting good farm here. We haven't talked a whole lot about our Slark because he just hasn't been doing much but farming, but he's got himself a kill and now that Shadow Blade. We were actually talking about it in our previous game, how this is when the snowball needs to start rolling. This is when you got to start feeding the Slark, or he just has so much unusable money.
Well, the Midas offsets that a little bit. At the point earlier was that the Lothars is a very obvious item that you pick it up to fight. Nobody buys Lothars to farm by themselves in the jungle. But if you pick up the Midas first, it'll you know, you can kind of get away with just farming because you've got a hand of Midas. The Shadow Blade is also kind of core on Slark in a lot of ways. I think Silver Edge is particularly good against the Terror Blade just to minimize damage output. I think that aspect of the item is still a little bit overlooked. And with somebody like Terror Blade, when he pops meta, it's a great way to, you know, catch him if he goes too manly. But I think Slardar about to get caught here.
Yeah, he just picked up his blink. He was looking for the opportunity to debut it. Now, Global Silence going to be doing some work. They hold him in place with the Overgrowth, but Treant still ends up going down. Trump should be able to zip to freedom, but now our Slark is in some serious trouble, having already committed his ult. He will go out.
Yep. Well, he did find a kill before he died, but that's a streak down, and you know, you don't get as much gold for the streaks these days as you used to. Lena only gets like 350 for that, so a pretty standard kill.
The experience, though, that's a pretty handy change.
Yep.
He's going to be keeping things in control now, so...
I don't know. It's kind of a wash. I want to say it's sort of good for the Radiant. You know, they get the kill and then finish off the tower, but same thing happens for the Dire. They trade evenly. They get the tier 2 down bottom, so... You know, as they say, when an even trade occurs, the team that's at a deficit really gets the advantage out of it. So, by that logic, it is Team Freedom that come out ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum really, you know, they don't got that same ferocity as they did around here. They've let up a little bit. They're still in the lead, but they've got to keep that rolling. Otherwise, our Storm Spirit with his 13 Bloodstone charges now picked up a new one. Might start to get a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's found one kill. It's manageable. They kill him once, and it's that little advantage he has is gone.
13 Bloodstone charges. I've seen so many games where Storm picks up a Bloodstone and then just immediately dies, and it's down to like 8, just right away. So sad. But right now we got Radiant moving up towards this mid lane. They're all huddled together pretty nicely.
How many Midases did the Dire have? Is it just the 2?
Yeah, just the 2.
And what's that recipe for Slark? Is that a Silver Edge?
Slark is getting... Yep.
It's the Silver Edge. Okay. So, yeah, it's also great against Lena. I forgot about the Fiery Soul stacks. So there's a passive there that the old break will take off. But I think against Terror Blade, it's just such a desirable item. Also, the shorter cooldown. It's just a good item in general, even aside from the debuff.
So things kind of planning out. Everyone just sitting back and farming up, waiting for their next item. Still no contest over the Roche pit, 21 minutes in. I mean, who's that more crucial for? Like, who's more Roche focused?
Radiant, because they have Slardar, but neither. I don't think anybody really is focused on Roche right now. Aside from Slardar, not really great Roshing heroes to try to do it early.
Oh, they're going in. Tree was under the sentry ward put down, and now he's going to get dragged back. They're committing a lot for him. He's going to living armor himself optimistically. Does go out, but gives away the position of his entire team. So, Radiant now.
It's a good pickoff. They could open up to move into Roche, but Freedom with the right idea. They've got 2 heroes pressuring down bottom pretty hard.
Yeah, Mike able to easily clean up that wave. Now, this tier 2 was already taken last fight. So Radiant don't have a lot to go for this. They definitely can't get up to the tier 3s and take those out just yet. See what the Dire's going to do to respond.
I'll take your tribute.
Push maybe commencing.
Yeah. I mean, Radiant, they're still trying here, but Squishy Lena leading the charge. I mean, this tier 3 is...
Squishy Lena. She's got a Bloodstone and a Yules, man.
Ah, well, she's going in. Global Silence committed, so they can't finish off Trump. And now Trump's jumping back in, gets the Electric Vortex onto the Lena, who's pounced up as well. She's going to Yule herself. Brock goes in for that crush, and yeah. Lena's going to deny herself. Bruh now left completely by himself and will go down as well.
Yeah, strange push. Only a couple of them up there, and of course Freedom rotate their entire team. I think Freedom were really under the impression that that was going to be an honest effort to try to break high ground, and it was really just 2 heroes kind of chipping at the tower. And they just punish it. A little bit of space created. Again, looking at the net worth graph, I think people often misinterpret the value of forcing the enemy back to the base, right? So if you're Lena, let's say only Lena's there in that situation, and she's chipping at the tower, and they think it's a bait, and they TP back 5 heroes. Sure, they kill the Lena, and that's great, and it stinks for the Lena in that moment. But if the rest of her team is spread out farming all of the lanes, and you know for a fact that all 5 of the enemies have just TP'd back to their base and all of their TPs are on cooldown. That's great. That's huge. That means they're not farming. They have to walk out of the base to continue farming. And usually the disparity between what your team's able to farm in that time versus how much the other team got from your death, the farming will outweigh it. So that's kind of what's happening with Fire right now. I mean, really, I just had a long-winded description of space created, but that's sort of what we saw. I mean, look at Terrorblade's farm. The way TC's farming speaks to that style. And this Terrorblade is going to become really hard to deal with in the very near future.
Yep, KVH not as sneaky as he thinks. Radiant doing a really great job with these sentry wards. They just seem to be everywhere they need to be, catching out trees at good opportunities, catching out recently placed dire wards, and now taking out a dire sentry of their own if they want to find that. But they're more interested in kills, going down, finding Mike, who's going to be trying to burrow strike his way to freedom. And well, he's got the blink away. Can Bra catch up to him? There is going to be KVH around, and crippling depression moves in. Brax trying to find the lasso. They will be able to find a stun. IX Mike still moving out, and they do get that break onto our Batrider. Maybe not the most impactful hero. Global Silence committed, but look at the right-click damage coming out of TC. Holy moly.
Wow.
Whew.
That was so lucky. The meta came out just as the global did.
And they get this as well. So
yep.
IX Mike not going to be running away from that, and this is just pushing a can.
Oh, this is classic space-created Dota. This Terrorblade has had so much room to farm, and now that they pick a fight, it's just too much, and they're going to catch the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, he's got nothing left there.
He's dead.
Yeah, not going to be able to deny himself either, so.
Well, just like that, Team Fire pull themselves up by their britches and jump right back into the lead.
Absolutely. Now it looks like our Treant Protector just going to be overgrowth and trying to get back. They're popping him into the trees, but
nice flame break.
Yeah.
I think they'll still get him.
I can TP to Shrine, though. Storm Spirit's going to be back in 2 seconds. Is this Radiant going too deep?
Nope.
Not, apparently not.
I don't know why Silencer walked up there. That was just ridiculous. Okay. Well done by the Radiant. They pursue, and they would have been happy with just a kill on Treant, and Silencer kind of hands him a freebie.
That was just a very long-winded fight that was kind of like here, and then moved up, and then this happened. But yeah, in the end, this is not going to catch like any of that at all, but still really good. And Radiant get a free shot at Roche. They've got to take this pretty quickly, though, even with the amp damage, not doing a whole lot about it. Now Mike ready to jump in, gets a quick burrow, and that Slardar is obliterated. Oh my goodness, the damage coming out right now is incredible. There's 1 second left on that Death Ward cooldown. They go for it immediately. Slark stuck in place. They get the kill. IX Mike makes it back up to the high ground, but being chased by Terrorblade Illusions. Is Blink gonna keep getting canceled? And there's dust popped out now as well. Oh, poor Mike. He's going to get healed by his tree, but it only makes the death longer.
Damn, another brutal fight. It was a good start. They completely crippled the Slardar, which is one of the key pieces of control for this Radiant team fight. But Storm dying again, and I think also Fire just knowing that there was no global from the Silencer. Another huge piece of the Dire's team fight. And without the global, I mean, what do you do? That was even without Metamorphosis. That was kind of a 4v5 fight. I mean, TB was there. He popped a Reflection. He did have a pretty decent Sunder on the Storm. But aside from that, like, Terrorblade without Metamorphosis is half of the hero's potential. Maybe even less than that. Storm now down to 7 Bloodstone charges.
Yeah, there's a scan revealing where he's at here. He's got some mana. They're going to miss the crush.
That was really close, though.
A little bit farther away.
Still pursue the Yule Scepter.
Global Silence, meaning there's no follow-up, and they're just going to go for a full disengage here.
They'll take that, man.
Yeah, forcing out the global.
Free global.
Very nice. And, I mean, tree goes in. All right, you overgrowth. You got that Batrider. That's down for another minute and a half as well, so
Yeah, you know, it's the TP. Maybe they can set something up.
Going in 1 by 1. The Silence committed onto the Witch Doctor, making sure there's no follow-up, and they're just going to beat Brax. Just kick him in the belly. Oh, God, they're surrounding him, our poor friend.
So I guess that means Orchid's up on Storm?
It is. He finished it right after zipping out of this side shop area. He was just waiting for that.
Yeah, probably could have been a little different situation with a coconut bouncing around there. Good use of the Orchid. Witch Doctor was definitely not ready for that one. The disparity between the Slark and the Terrorblade continues to grow, however. TC doing TC things around the map, living up to his reputation as a consistent farmer. It looks like Scotty is actually about to come out. He's got the gold for it.
Well, our Slark just really needs to survive these team fights. He gets off a good initiation, he can find a good pounce, and usually gets off his ult, but after that he's just fed to the wolves, so BKB should help him out with that. 3, 4, and 3 for him. He really needs to get that snowball going, having committed so much of his time into the Silver Edge, a hunting item, and now needs to find his prey.
It's too late for that, man. We're 30 minutes in. If you're not snowballing by now, your snowball's not happening.
He's got a little snowball going on.
I don't know what that means, but he's definitely not snowballing. He's mediocre at best right now,
Yeah,
position 3 on net worth.
He's not totally just like dropping the ball. He's not dead. He's still viable. He can still scale well, but it's not a great start.
That's you just described the opposite of snowballing.
Thanks.
Not a great start.
You know, I'm trying to keep positive, man. You need to eat a Snickers or something. You're getting cranky.
I am hungry. I mean, he's definitively not, though. I mean, this is a Slark that's not in the greatest of situations.
Not in a great situation.
He cannot go blow for blow with the enemy carry. He's about to get soloed by this Lina. That is...
Well, Lena's going to pay the price for that. Does deny with the Bloodstone, so...
Totally worth it. Loses some charges, unfortunate, but... Still, that is a huge pickoff. Dire are in big trouble, man. They need some big play to turn this around. They need a crazy team fight. They need like an IX Mike ult that's not on one hero with a good global, and they could still wipe them. I mean, this is scary. They've got everything except for Slark. But they could still delay this or maybe snipe the Aegis.
Man, TC is just taking it so quickly, though. Dire, I mean, even if they make a move right now, it's still going to be too late. So they're thinking about it. Still making their way over to the pit, grouping up, taking out camps as they go. But in the meantime, TC snaps up an Aegis. They get a little more gold going for themselves. And what was that ult? What?
Weird.
Like,
very weird.
That was like they had everyone positioned to jump into the pit, and they ulted, but there was no one to follow up. Now global silence.
It's been a misclick. It's a really weird use of global.
Yeah. Okay.
I always hate to say something was a misclick because you never really know. But
there was just nothing to follow up.
There was really nobody even initiated on.
I mean, potentially they could have thought someone was invis behind them, like ready to jump, and just wanted. That's a big if.
It's a possibility, but by that logic, you should just use global as soon as it's up. Oh, he could have been there, guys. You never know. There could have
All right, you got to stop harping on this. It's a mistake. We all make mistakes.
What, the accidental global?
Yeah.
Game-losing mistake right now.
It'll be up in
pretty big one.
a little over a minute. They can definitely hold this. They might take some damage onto this tier 2.
I mean, if they get wiped here, this is Rax. So this is a really defining moment. Fire might not push the high ground, but Aegis is on TB, right?
Yes, TC's still holding on to it. Still got plenty of time left.
So he pops the meta first.
Mike, though, he could just go crazy on this. Does get a burrow strike containing all of TC and his friends. Still holding on to that epi. Mike just walks in.
There's a fight going on over at the secret shop.
Yep, and they're going forward for this, but
they killed Witch Doctor, and that's about it. But why did they take that fight? He just killed their T3.
All right, Terrorblade just gonna sit there and take it. They bring Bra up, looking for a fun crush, but I mean, this Terrorblade is just laying in the damage, and well, just gonna be playing it safe, walking back down without burning his Aegis, and sundering up Bra, who's already making the trip back.
Third duration left on the meta, man. This is Rax. Not gonna let Treant heal it back up. They just finish off the ranged barracks, but of course, this opens up the shrines.
Yeah, Trump taking a lot of damage. Now he's fresh out of mana. Reinitiation from Mike goes in, but Bra with a double man crush. They've locked down Mike. They're going to lock down the Treant Protector, and this is more. Brax up doing the hard zoning work. Zombies slowed down, crippled by the Diffusal Blade.
Why did they do that?
This is huge. Gem on the deck, so there's now another one going the way of the Radiant.
Man, from bad to worse. Fire were already in a pretty good spot, and they dive out of the base and get completely cleaned up. I mean, they didn't even get a single kill out of that. That was brutal.
I'm going to take out this shrine as well. Everyone's going to be TPing to mid to push that out, so altogether, really good work. Good progress made by the Radiant, and you can see the net worth just starting to bump up more and more in their favor.
Getting closer to an item after BKB. Oh, he wants to go Maelstrom. Yeah, they're going to have a lot of trouble. Freebie. They're going to have a lot of trouble dealing with this butterfly that is coming on the Terrorblade. I mean, Storm can get the Bloodthorn. That will help, and it's just an upgrade for him. But I just don't know how you stop this Terrorblade. Like, that last fight was kind of strange because there were two engagements happening at once, right? Like, on that back line, Slark went in, showed off the BKB, got the pick up on Witch Doctor. But I think Radiant were sort of okay with that. Like, if they could choose to break up the fight and just let Terrorblade go ham on the structures, you know, it's really not a bad type deal. So in a straight-up 5v5, I mean, how do you deal with that guy? I don't have an answer to that question.
Not easy, I tell you what. Like, silence isn't really going to do much because he can still...
he has the butterfly.
Yeah, oof. Okay. It does,
I mean,
backpack for efficiency, let's be real.
To be fair, if you can initiate and then, like... So let's say Mike goes in with a blink stun, catches him before he metas,
right,
and
buddy.
then they follow up silence. That could be game-winning, right?
Get that butterfly out.
Like, silence him before he can use Metamorphosis or ult. The problem is, though, if you kill him, and then you go to push, he buys back, he still has Metamorphosis available.
Get that butterfly out. Let's do it. Come on, man.
He's waiting for the Aegis to expire.
I know. Now, here we go. They got IX Mike isolated. There is a deep jump in by our Storm Spirit. Going to be Yuled up the global. Yeah, much better than the last time. They are going to be able to go and continue to focus the damage. Yeah, Lina able to go ahead and isolate the Storm. Storm not able to get the deny off either. Silencer now just running for his life as everyone is chasing after him. And there's not much he can do about this. Just the right clicks from Witch Doctor and Bat alone going to be burning him down. They find that kill.
I'm surprised they don't just GG out right now. That was like an amazing initiation. They got the global before he could use Metamorphosis, and they couldn't do anything.
It's not great. Slark able to leap away from the Light Strike array, but does still fall victim to the crush here. They've got...
Yeah, no detection. Oh, they found him. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, no, they got a gem somewhere. Someone's holding a gem.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Witch Doctor's got it. He was just a little slow.
All right, under the shrine. He's trying here. He's making a last stand as BKB. Gonna be running out soon. They're waiting for it, and they get the Light Strike array. They get the crush, and one more hit.
So that was a 5-0, and now Global's down. Mike goes in, connects with an ult on 2, but it's pretty much just to his death. They know he doesn't have any retreat. Now Storm jumps in. Okay, he gets a kill, maybe
he's gonna find 2. Very nice work, Trump.
But he's out of mana, and now he might be in trouble. Lina silenced. She finishes off the ward.
TC just doing things good.
TC forces the GG mid. Okay.
Yeah. Well. TC got his eyes on the prize. Very well played, Team Fire. And Team Freedom definitely got to collect themselves for game number 2 of this best of 3.
Tough game, man. Another tough game. The Terrorblade just, it felt like he was never pressured. It felt like TC spent that entire game just farming and then taking team fights when it was convenient for him. At the overall scoreboard, how did he finish?
We got to hop into next game really quickly. They're waiting on us. So
11, 0, and 10. Yeah, TC literally did not die.
Come on, man.
It's
supposed to be the lobby.
Does not die.
Just making sure we can hop in. All right, that's going to do it for game number 1. We'll get right on the ball with game number 2 coming up for the Zotac Cup NA bracket.